My name is Beau, and I've been designing web interfaces for the last 2.5 years at Squared, designing and building. We're most known for our innovative credit card reader and the 3 apps that use it. But these 3 device apps are supported by a lot of different web apps. Many of these are internal, but we have a lot of them that are, many of them are external, and most of them are internal. And we iterate on these rapidly and constantly. So it's really important that we choose good tools. So the first one I'll share with you is that you should always create a style guide. For each project we build, we create a style guide. Here's a little video walking you through some of the features. We have examples of every bit of UI we use across the site, the project, in this one place. So you can come here and see if something looks broken or not. We do a lot of test-driven development at Square, and there's not really a test-driven development way to kind of check look and feel. So we find a style guide is the best way to do that. Because if you go to the style guide and look through it and something's broken, you can tell that it's probably going to be broken on the few pages that use that UI component. It's also a pretty good place to start building various UI components, because you don't have to build it for the specific use case you're going to build it for. You can build it in a more generic place. You can test it, and then when you actually apply it to whatever page or place you're going to use it, you can modify it for that usage if necessary. So here you can see we have a zip code to city-state autocomplete. It's very handy. Helps users fill out the activation flow a lot faster. So the second one I'll talk to is if you don't have your own style guide, you haven't started designing it, Twitter Bootstrap's a great place to start. You're creating a unique service or product, and that service or product is unique in the way you combine things, or the new piece of functionality you add. So a lot of the UI you're going to have may be very common, such as default grids, typography, tables, forms, more forms, buttons, and so many more things. And Twitter Bootstrap really provides a great framework for doing that. So if you haven't developed your own, start there. Here's a quick example. I saw a tweet from Kip the other day saying, hey, it's not too hard to skin Twitter Bootstrap, and it's a great place to start. And so I actually went back to their site and dug in via the inspector and just deleted a couple of things until I got back to this. And it was interesting how little code they actually added on top of this to make this. And if someone actually came to this site, they wouldn't know that you used Twitter Bootstrap, and actually, unless you looked under the covers, if you will. So it's a great place to start. It can advance your development up into when you actually need to brand it for your own usage. So the next thing I want to talk about is actually my favorite. I love these 2 things. I studied design and kind of came into web technology because people were asking, hey, do you do websites? It's the next big thing. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I can do a website. And as I learned more and more about programming languages, I realized CSS really isn't a programming language. And so I've been itching and actually trying different ways to make it into a programming language, but never quite had an awesome solution. So as soon as this came along, I really dug in and really took full advantage of it. A couple of high-level features, if you aren't already using it. In CSS, oftentimes you'll calculate some padding based on the width of some element and the padding here and some size of an image, and then you'll put that number into your CSS. But you've lost how you calculated that number. And with Sass, you can actually put that calculation in here. And so the next person that comes along to edit this file knows exactly where that came from. CSS3 is very easy. You don't have to worry about mistyping one of these vendor prefixes. Sprites are also super easy. If you aren't using sprites on your site, check out this technique, and it'll make your user interface a lot snappier, because there's less, especially on mobile, because there's less things to download. So you give Compass a few images, it creates a single image plus a bunch of CSS that you can just apply to your designs. So if you want to learn more about Sass, I gave a talk a few months ago. This link will take you to that full talk, telling you all about why it's so awesome. Next tool, very simple tool, but this is really like the Swiss Army knife you're going to pull out when you need something. It has 8 really cool, simple tools. Here's a quick little video of using 3 of my favorites. This is just getting dimensions of things. Very handy when a designer is coming over and saying, is that lined up? Here's another one. It's for measuring width and height. So you can go back and forth between like a Photoshop file and your web interface to just port over certain widths and make sure that your design is pixel perfect. Another kind of cool thing is the loop. You can select colors from anything on your screen, and you can also, so it follows the mouse, or you can have it follow what's behind it. And when you're doing this, you can actually use inside to pull off, to select areas and figure out how big certain things are. So it's really, really handy tool. Check it out. And lastly, I want to talk about your code editor. You probably all use one. You can't really develop their design without code at some point. But really dig in and learn everything you can learn about the editor you choose to use. And I'm sure you're only using a small fraction of all the functionality it can actually give you. Learn all the shortcuts. Go in the menus. Don't actually click that element in the menu. Actually, put the menu away and use the shortcut. And that muscle memory will help you get much faster at whatever you're doing. Also, one thing I learned recently, a lot of the guys I'm working with they love Vim, but Sublime Text I found out it has like key bindings for Vim too, so you can get all the benefits of a GUI with all the shortcuts you're used to in Vim. It's kind of cool. So with that, if I've mentioned a tool that you use every day and you find it indispensable, I'd love to hear about it. So please find me and tell me about it. Thanks.